Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. You know, I didn't want to do it, but I got to do it, okay? I've got to go back to the dumbass comment of the day, and I think actually that the name, I don't know, but I think I know who it actually is. But this person, Richard Noggin, I think this guy has about 20 different profiles, and he's literally a professional troll. I mean, this is what I think he does all day long. Um, what his comment was, Dalton's yards was not garbage. He wasn't down by 20 points every game, laugh out loud. So I want to go ahead and deal with the situation of garbage yards because even my man Rashid, well, he'll say that Daniel Jones's yards are quality yards. They're not garbage yards because the games are close. And I'm going to go through and look at the definition. Garbage time NFL. This is what the definition is. Garbage time is a term used to refer to a period toward the end of a timed sports competition that has become a blowout when the outcome of the game has already been decided, and the coaches of one or both teams will decide to replace their best players with substitutes. As in, oh, we can rest the starters, let's clear the bench. Hence, you're not playing against the team's best options, okay?
Is that what the Eagles did?
Well,
When they took over the
that whole game was just garbage. But regardless, so you understand the definition. Or a team would play, late if the score is beyond reach where they figure they're not going to catch up, they'll play like we used to call it victory or prevent defense, where we'd have like two defensive linemen, and we'd have all of our cornerbacks and safeties basically so far back that everything gets kept in front of you. Hence, you're just trying to give them quick hitters and things that are short. Just don't give up any give up stuff that's cheap and nothing deep. And in that case, you can pick up a lot of yards. So this person's saying, and we always hear, well, Dak Prescott, he's always getting yards in garbage time. So let me say, when you have guys that come back, it doesn't mean that automatically, oh, well, we're up by 21 points because their defense stinks and we're scoring points, that they go ahead and stop trying to play. Very rarely, because if any team that does that against Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys with the weapons, and especially in the NFL today where, this year we've had more points than any other year, I think 7,649 points that were scored. Thank you, Dallas Cowboys defense, because you were a big part of making sure that record was broken. In today's NFL, you have so many teams that come back. So I'm going to give you a hypothetical here. Let me ask you this, Mr. Noggin, Richard. If you were down 28-3 at halftime, would the second half of that game be garbage time? Okay, let me give you another. Let me add to this. If at halftime your team was down 28-3, and you went out and you threw another interception, and now the score was 35-3 in the second half, is that garbage time? Is it? So, being down 35-3, let's say the team that's down by 3 points, let's say that quarterback throws 4 touchdowns. Do those touchdowns not count? Are those just considered garbage time? Because, the other team's up 35-3. This game's over, right? It's over. That's truly, man, that's garbage time. The other team is just literally, they've cooled their jets. They pulled their starters. They know that this game's over, right? So that, by definition, to you, is garbage time, right? Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything because they were down by 32 points, right? They don't count. What if I told you that is where the coach for the Indianapolis Colts was with Buffalo against Houston? They were down 28-3 at halftime. He comes out, throws an interception, gets down 35-3. In that game, which was a wild card game, let me go ahead and read this to you. By halftime of the game, Houston was out front 28-3 behind 4 touchdown passes from future Hall of Famer Warren Moon. 4 touchdown passes in the first half. They're blowing them out. At the beginning of the second half, things got even darker for Buffalo when Houston strong safety Bubba McDowell, I remember Bubba, intercepted a pass from Frank Wright, who was filling in for injured Jim Kelly. McDowell ran 58 yards for an Oiler touchdown, putting them up 35-3. At that point, many Bills fans headed out of the chilly western New York weather, convinced the game was lost. So that's, by definition, is garbage time, right? On the very next possession, however, Buffalo began to rally, driving 50 yards in 10 plays and scoring a touchdown on a 1-yard run by Keith Davis. Bills kicker Steve Christie then recovered his own onside kick to give Reich the ball. Reich only needed 4 plays that time, connecting with Don Beebe on a 38-yard touchdown to put the score up 35-17. A stellar job by the Bills defense gave the Buffaloes possession again, and Reich capitalized, finding Andre Reed for a 26-yard touchdown. The Oilers on the next drive, Bills safety Henry Jones intercepted a deflected Moon pass for a 15-yard return, enabling Wright to find Reed for another score. By that point, the Bills had cut the deficit to 4 points in a span of 6 minutes and 52 seconds. After the Oilers botched a field goal attempt that turned the ball over again, Reich made a 17-yard touchdown pass to Reed to put Buffalo up 38-35 with less than 3 minutes left in regulation. In the waning seconds of the game, Houston's Al Del Greco made a 26-yard field goal to tie the score and send the game into overtime on a Houston drive. The Bills' defensive back, Nate Odoms, intercepted a Moon pass. Davis made a 6-yard rush. Christie stepped up for a 32-yard field goal attempt. He booted the ball through the uprights, winning the game for Buffalo 41-38 and completing the largest comeback victory in NFL league history of 32 points. So, do we look at that and say that, well, they were behind by 20 points? That was just garbage. That was purely garbage. Because, see, here's the thing. I keep hearing about, well, you're always behind, and it's not behind. I could see if you're behind because you fumbled the ball and you kept throwing interceptions, pick sixes, and that's why you're behind, that the onslaught is not. I might understand that. It's because your defense literally just can't get anything going. And so if your philosophy is, well, your team's always getting blown out, so you're just making a ton of yards, they don't really count, then explain to me how come, say, the Jets, why their quarterback, Sam Darnold, doesn't have a ton of yards. They're always behind. They're always getting blown out. They usually don't have a chance. How come the how come their quarterback doesn't have a boatload of yards, because they've been blown out? How come Danny Dimes doesn't have tons and tons of yards? Because usually those guys are getting blown out. You see my point here? We keep saying that, if that's the case, I don't see any other quarterback that was on pace for 6,000 yards. And if your whole philosophy is teams that are getting blown out, they have a ton of yards, then how come they don't? Only Dak Prescott does. And FYI, I believe Dak Prescott has had, I want to say 15 come from behind victories, which is pretty good. So, Richard Negan, a.k.a. Mr. Meltdown, and I'm sure we'll get many of the dumbass comments of the day. I will catch you guys later on. I got a bone to pick with one Jerry Wayne Jones about his whole thing of we need to spend money on defense, so Dak Prescott needs to take a team-friendly deal. I'll be back later.